Hello, beloved. It's me, James, and it's that time on a regular basis when we read together from sacred texts. We do some sacred reading and we listen for how Spirit might speak into our lives. There's no real magic in this. There's a technique I use, there's a traditional technique that has been taught over time about how to do sacred reading, also known in Latin as Lectio Divina. But really what it boils down to is that we believe that the sacred texts we read from can speak to us now in ways that are fresh, that Spirit can speak new life into us, can call us out, encourage us, help us see the world differently. All of those possibilities are available to us when we do sacred reading. It allows us to dig deep rather than rush through. I know lots of, and nothing against it, I know lots of programs for reading through the Bible in 1 year or in 3 years. And this is not a program to get you through the Bible so that you can say you've read the whole thing all the way through. Maybe you should do that too as a side thing. That's up to you. But this is a way to try to go deeper and trust Spirit can speak to us even in a few short phrases in ways that we need to hear right now. The technique that I use and that I invite you to use is to read the text 3 times aloud. Pick a short text, read it 3 times aloud. Aloud because sometimes our eyes can deceive us when we just do reading with our eyes. But when we read out loud, first of all, the vibrational energy of the text itself can speak. Because all sacred texts, for the most part, that I'm aware of anyway, were originally orally passed on. They were spoken long before they were written down. They were told as stories that informed people's lives. So when you honor a text by speaking it out loud, you're doing what the original writers, what the original folks who told those stories did. And the vibration brings your whole body online, brings you into the moment, and helps you perhaps to hear something. Actually hear it, not see it, but hear it spoken. So we are working our way now through the book of Ruth. Wonderful story from the Hebrew Bible. And we're just 3 weeks in. This is our 3rd week reading from the book of Ruth. In the story so far, we have heard Ruth and her family moved because there was a famine at home. They were hungry, so they moved to another land, the land of Moab, because they needed to provide for the family. 2 sons, Ruth and her husband. While she's gone, while they're living in Moab, the 2 sons marry 2 Moabite women, and the husband dies, and then both of her sons die, and so she is left with her 2 daughters-in-law. That's where we find them today. We're going to be looking at Ruth chapter 1, beginning with verse 7 and reading through verse 10. Listen with me now. Afterwards, I'll pause. You can tune away or stop the video, or you can listen to the end where I will share any thoughts that arise for me about the text. Again, they're the thoughts that rise for me. So maybe you'll have a different set of thoughts that arise. And so whatever you choose to do, thanks for coming and being with us as we read this and anticipate Spirit speaking. So Ruth and her 2 daughters-in-law left the house where they had been living, and she set out on the road to Judah. But Naomi told each of her daughters-in-law, "Return to your mother's house. May the Most High care for you with the same kindness that you have cared for your dead and for me. May the Most High give you security and true fulfillment and lead you to new spouses." And she kissed them both. But they wept loudly and said to her, "No, We want to go back with you to the land of your people. When I listen to this story, a couple of things rise for me. The first is Naomi's gratitude. Um, she's thankful. She's thankful for these two daughters-in-law and the way that they have cared for her sons when, to whom they were married, and then also the way that they have cared for her. And she expresses that thanks. But there's also a little note of reality as well. Women in this time didn't have a lot of means for taking care of themselves, for earning a living, and had to attach themselves either to a family member's house, a brother, a father, an uncle, or get married again, so that there was access to to life, to the necessities of life. And so Naomi knows there's a hard road ahead. I can sense that in what she suggests to her daughters-in-law. She says, stay here. You know this place. You know these people. You need to be cared for too. And I'm not sure I'm going to be able to do that for you. So find husbands here from among the people you know. I'm going to go back to the land of my people. Now, both of her daughters-in-law, in what would be a surprise, I think, say no. Destitute or not, we want to go with you. We want to be with you. That kind of love, concern, care. You can see why Naomi was so very thankful for these two young women. So I hear an invitation to be thankful for what has happened, for what is happening, for where I am right now. I almost hear Naomi saying, I wouldn't be here if it weren't for you. I wouldn't have made it to this place if it weren't for you. And having said that, she then tells them, unfortunately, I don't think I can care for you anymore. I can't. I love you, but that's not going to be enough. And they weep and say, no, please don't do that. We want to go with you. We want to be with you. Some bond deeper than even blood because they were daughters-in-law and mother-in-law. A bond deeper has formed. And despite Naomi's blessing of these two daughter-in-laws, they indicated a desire to be with her. That kind of loyalty and respect and love that we see with these two women and Naomi is powerful. That kind of bond that brings them together. They've shared pain and loss as well as what joy they had to share in the time they became members of the same family. And sometimes sharing those things together draws together more closely than we can even imagine. That shared tragedy in their lives has connected them. And I'm interested to see what happens next. But I want to remember that even in brokenness, there are gifts that come our way. Even when things are coming apart, as they were for Naomi and her two daughters-in-law, even as they were coming apart, there is a bond, a connection, a gift for which even Naomi could be thankful. Even after all she had lost, her husband and her two sons, she could be thankful for that gift. So I heard, be thankful, even when things aren't going as you would hope. Be thankful. Find the things you can be thankful for, and people who can bond with you over the things perhaps that have been lost. That's what I heard when I read Ruth, chapter 1, verses 7 through 10 today. Maybe you heard something else. I invite you to share that with me. If you want to, you can respond on the Facebook page where it is, or on the YouTube page, or you can always just email me if you wish, and share any thoughts you had about the text. You are welcome to do so. I'd love to hear from you. In the interim, always remember, you are infinitely precious and unconditionally loved for the gift you already are. Until the next time.